Didn't even get to cross.
What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, the DMD, and I'm here bringing you guys a matchup between Ishizu Tearlament and Fluffal. The Fluffal player is on the right, and the Ishizu player is on the left. So we are going to hop into game one, going to normal summon a Diviner. Diviner is going to send, I believe that is a Guido? I can't tell from the way the camera is looking. But they will both mill 5. My man Eric on Tearlament hits a Droplet, an Instant Fusion, a Mudora, a Rhino Heart, and a Merly. And Michael, who is playing Fluffals, will hit a Bear, a Toy Vendor, a Wings, a Gamma, and an Eldritch. Then, after the milling of 5, Michael is going to chain Edge Imp Scythe to summon out a Cruel Whale. Cruel Whale effect will be able to pop a card from both players' fields, and going to also trigger the effects of Penguin and draw 2 cards and discard 1 card. On Eric's side of the board, a Merly will activate, being able to shuffle itself and any other Tearlament name or any other fusion material back into the deck to fusion out a Mud Dragon of the Swamp. This will enable rank 4 plays, and Michael just explaining the Chainlink 1 Fright for Cruel Whale and the Chainlink 2 Fluffal Penguin chain to pop a card and draw some cards and discard cards from his deck. But here we actually see a Droplet chain going to send the Mud Dragon, or are we? He's going to send... What are we? He's going to send from hand to negate the Cruel Whale. So the draws off Penguin and such will resolve, but the Cruel Whale will not resolve. Discarding Chain, which is really strong because Chain is going to get a Fright for card from deck to hand for next turn. Eric is then going to fusion summon again with Shiren and Mud Dragon. Yeah, Shiren and Mud Dragon to make a Dracostapelia to serve as a negate for Michael's turn. Michael is then going to add a Fright for Fusion off of Edge Imp Chain. Going to then summon a Baron from Eric's side of the board. So Eric has 2 negates. He has a Dracostapelia and a Baron to floor for Michael's turn. However, Michael has been playing a lot already on Eric's turn. Eric is just going to activate Keldo's effect to shuffle 3 of Michael's cards back in his deck, and it will go to Michael's turn. I believe that's what's going to happen. Alright, so it is Michael's turn. Michael is just going to think a little bit about how to break this board, but he will start out by looking through his graveyard. He does have an Eldritch in the graveyard, so he does have access to a 3500 beater if he wants it. And although Ishizu Tier likes to play on your turn even when you're going first, Michael has done a pretty good job of playing on Eric's turn when Eric went first. So we will see if Michael's crackback is strong enough to win him the game here, because Fluffals do like to OTK, but there are 2 negates on Eric's side of the board. So here, Michael's going to go Eldritch Effect in the hand, sending Called by the Grave, targeting the Baron. He's going to negate with the Baron, and then Michael's going to activate Fright for Fusion. And Fright for Fusion is going to be able to fuse a Bear and an Edge Imp. I believe that's a Chain? An Edge Imp Chain for a Fright for Kraken. Fright for Kraken, being able to, on summon, send a card from both players' fields to the grave. I'm gonna chain Dracostapelia to negate. Michael's just reading over Dracostapelia to make sure that it does what he thinks it does. Michael going to normal Penguin and special Dolphin. Dolphin is going to be able to reset a toy vendor, and then he's going to send a Fright for Repair plant off of the Dolphin. Or, no, my bad, he's going to send a Wings, because it says any Fluffal card. So Michael will just offer to cut, and then Michael will activate the toy vendor, going to banish a Wings and the Penguin to draw a card, and then pop the toy vendor. Toy vendor will then trigger. Going to add a Fluffal Bear, which then can get him another toy vendor. Michael going to discard the Fluffal Bear to set a toy vendor from the deck. Then probably going to flip up that toy vendor. Yes, he is. And then he's going to activate Royal Penguin's Garden, which actually searches a Fluffal Penguin here. So Michael will have an additional Fluffal Penguin, and that gives him a little bit more flexibility because he has a couple more extenders to play with. Michael's got like 6 or something cards in his hand. Eldritch Effect in hand will send a toy vendor from the field to the graveyard, being able to trigger the toy vendor again and put Eldritch on his side of the board, and add an Edge Imp Sabers from deck to hand. Then Michael is going to activate Patchwork, and that is a lot of damage, and Eric just scoops it up and goes to the next game. So here we are in game 2. Eric has the opportunity to choose whether he wants to go first or second, and I believe he opts to go first here. He does. He starts out with Instant Fusion for Kit Kalos. That is literally as full of a combo as you can get. Going to add a Shire in here off the Kit Kalos, and going to special the Shiren, send 1 and mill 3. We hit not only a Kelbeck, so both players will mill 5, but I think that's also a Merly and a Havness. So all 3 of those will trigger. They'll mill like 15 cards. Actually, Michael had some pretty good mills also. He hit an Eldritch and I believe a Toy Vendor. And then Eric just has like a million cards going to the grave. It's so fast, I can't even keep up with it. He's going to summon a Garura off the Merly, and he's going to slap a Mud Dragon right down beside it. Now he's just checking his grave, and looks like he's going to Keldo here, shuffling back a Kelbeck and a few other cards into the deck. And then he's also going to check Michael's grave to see if there's any targets he would like to potentially shuffle back in his grave. Going to send back the Eldritch, and thinking on another target. Let's see here. No, I guess not going to shuffle back anything. So just going to summon out a Garura. There's a Mud Dragon, there's a Garura, there's a Diviner. The Diviner looks like, is it going to get synced off? Eric is going to check opposing grave one more time, just to confirm what is in there, what he could possibly spin back or get rid of, so he doesn't have to deal with it later. So now Eric's just thinking over his options, because he does have quite a number of options. Diviner is also a tuner, and I believe it's also level 6 right now. So it looks like there's going to be a summon of a Baroned Floor here. And then, let's see, I believe the Garura and the Kit will be linked off into Dark. Garura will draw a card, and from here, Eric has a stacked grave. He's going to link off the Dark into an Elf. Going to set 1 card, and will that be it for his turn? We shall see. And it will be it for his turn, so it will be on to Michael's turn now. So Michael has to break Elf plus Barone, starting off with a Toy Vendor. Will that fiend the Baron negate? It looks like he's thinking about it. Does he have a response? Okay, so it will fiend the Baron negate, or will it? Oh, that's right, my bad. He's using the Eldritch effect Engrave and sending the Toy Vendor for cost. And he attempts to negate with Baron, and that's a Gamma on the Baron. That's huge. Going to chain Elf in response to the Gamma, and that will then resolve the Toy Vendor. And, well, it'll resolve the Gamma first, so the driver will come out of the deck. The Eldritch will be added back to hand, and he can choose to summon the Eldritch if he would like, but he's also going to... Okay, so he's going to summon the Eldritch, and then Toy Vendor on a new chain. This will add a copy of Fluffal Dolphin. So Fluffal Dolphin can reset the Toy Vendor and then send a Repair Plant. Agido is going to mill 5 here. Going to hit a... Gonna hit a Havanus, Maduro, Terraforming, Talents, and something else. And let's see. Actually, I believe it's a Scream that got milled because he's adding a Crime here. Either a Solic or a Crime will get added here from the Tearlaments side, and a Penguin will hit the board from Michael's side. Now Eric is just asking Michael what all cards in his graveyard have effects that do things, and Michael's just kind of explaining that Sabers does something, and obviously there's Eldritch and some other cards in there that have relevant grave effects, and Michael's just kind of confirming with Eric what all those things do. So it looks like Eric is going to chain Havanus and Merly, and it looks like Merly and Kit will be fused together, and Havanus and Garura will be fused together. Havanus and Garura, I believe, will be used to fusion out a... Eric is just thinking on his fusion target. It will be a Dracostapelia, and then the Kit and the Merly will be fused into a Rukalos. So, now that that chain has resolved, Michael will resume his turn here, and let's see what he will do next. Michael's gonna follow up with a Fright for Patchwork. Patchwork will search an Edge Imp and a Polymerization spell card. If it resolves, it looks like it will resolve, getting a Poly and an Edge Imp Scythe here. So that Poly and Edge Imp Scythe will get added to hand. And then from here, Michael will just go into the battle phase and start beating over Dracostapelia and the Elf. And damage total will be on the screen momentarily. I kept it on my phone so that way it would be easier to tell what life totals were at over the course of the game. And it's 63, so Eric is at 63 to 800, or 8,000, excuse me. And main 2, Michael is going to summon Penguin, and then Penguin effect will activate, or attempt to activate, and it will get negated and destroyed by Rukalos. And then Michael is just going to activate Polymerization, and that will get hit with a Tearlaments Crime. So from here, Eric is just deciding what to send from hand to grave for the effect of Crime. And now Michael has to figure out how he's going to finish the rest of his turn. Michael does have a number of resources in his hand here. I believe he's probably got around 4 or 5 cards, if not more. And he's going to link into a Dagda using Driver and the Gamma here. Going to contemplate a little bit more and then just set one and say go to Eric. So Eric will go to his turn, but before he goes to his turn, he's going to activate Medora. He's going to shuffle Elf, Baron, and a Guido to shuffle back into the deck. So those will be shuffled back into the extra deck and into the main deck, and then after that shuffle, Eric will offer the cut, and it will become Eric's turn. So he will draw for turn. Going to go ahead and normal summon Rhino Heart. Rhino Heart effect will send... Gonna send a Sheeran here. Sorry, that's kind of out of the view of the camera, but Sheeran effect will then trigger. Shuffling itself, and it looks like a copy of Dracostapelia, so those 2 monsters will be fused into... What will Eric summon here? He's just thinking over his options, and it looks like it's going to be a copy of... So before he resolves a summon, it just looks like Eric is checking Michael's graveyard, just seeing what all is in it, maybe a target he could potentially use later in the turn. And he still has to resolve the Sheeran effect to fusion summon. So it will be... What's it going to be? It's going to be the Sheeran and the Mud Dragon for the Dracostapelia. And he still has 2 materials left over, one of which is the Diviner, so he could, in theory, synchro, but we don't know what the target will be. Oh, he's going to summon Sprint. He has to correct it because the Dagda is technically in the other extra monster zone, so the Sprint will go back into the other extra monster zone. It looks like he's going to shuffle 3 monsters back and summon a Rucolos, and that looks like it will spin one of the monsters on the board back, and it looks like we'll be moving to battle phase, and Michael will take, looks like a lot of damage here. So the Rucolos, the Predaplant Fusion, the Dracostapelia, the Kaleido Heart, and the Sprint. And that will be game. So we are finally moving on to game 3. Michael will start off activating Foolish Burial Goods, sending a Toy Vendor. Toy Vendor will add a Fluffal to his hand. Going to add a Fluffal Penguin to hand. And then give it a shuffle Rooski and just move on to his next play. He offers the cut, normal summons Penguin, and then going to special summon the dog from hand. Dog effect will go ahead and add a Fluffal Dolphin from deck to hand on summon. This does give Michael the ability, I believe, to go into the Bahamut Shark Toad line, if I'm not mistaken. So that could be something we see throughout the turn here. Going to overlay both of those monsters into an Abyss Dweller. Interesting here. So we're going to set one and pass. Michael is going to Dweller on standby. Special summoning a Fenrir on Eric's side of the board is going to come down, activating its effect to add. And then from here, I guess we would just go... I believe the Abyss Dweller is boosted by 500 because it does have a water as material, but Fenrir is going to banish it face down before it has a chance to actually do battle. So, and then it gets to attack again, so Michael will take 2,400 points of damage, and then going to normal summon a Keldo, or special summon a Keldo by discarding another Keldo, and then adding off of its effect. And then from here, will Eric continue with some Tearlament plays? Going to special summon Shiren, mill 3. Going to fuse, it looks like. Believe he milled a Shiren, so he'll fusion. No, that's a Havanus. That is a Havanus, so he will fuse with a Havanus here, I believe. If he decides to do so, I think you probably decide to do so here because you want to get... Oh, he's going to just not fusion summon. Is he or is he not? I think he was just thinking about it. So he's going to summon Time Thief Redoer here. Just a Redoer and pass. So it will be back on Michael's turn on standby. Eric will rip a Foolish Burial Goods off of the Time Thief Redoer off the top. Michael's going to start his turn by normal summoning Fluffal Dolphin, and that will prompt something. Is that the Kelbeck? Going to spin back the... Going to spin back the Penguin here, so that will get shuffled into the deck. And then Michael has to figure out how to put some sort of pressure on Eric from here. He's just setting one card and looking at the attack values and defense values, and... Oh, is that a pass? Oh boy, that's not what you want to see. So I believe this is end phase. Redoer will banish itself, and then detach the remaining materials from itself. And I believe here Michael's just asking to read the effect of Redoer, attempting to fuse for Kit Kalos. And this is essentially full combo again. Going to add a Rhino Heart off Kit Kalos. And then from here, after adding Kit Kalos, going to add a Castrila off of Fenrir. Then going to follow up by linking off. Oh, going to tribute summon for the big Fenrir guy, and going to special summon out another Castrila. And then from here, I believe from here Eric can just go into some of his fusion plays with Rhino Heart, or let's see, is that Merle going to send 3 from the top of the deck to the grave? That will trigger the trap to add. I'm going to add a Tearlament name, and Michael just opts to scoop it up here. So yes, Eric takes the match. Good game to the both of them. Excellent gameplay, and we have reached the end of the match. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next video.
Didn't even get to cross.